Welcome to a life transforming experience as Pastor Prince Abah brings you God's Word with deep insights and power. God bless you.
Know the principle of God. The truth of the matter is that you can still be having results. You know, it's one of the things I've seen that sometimes amuses and amazes me. People who don't know God so much, but know His principles and are getting results. I'm telling you, it's one of the shocking things I have seen. I used to think that it's only Christians who should prosper or have success in life, until God corrected me and told me, look, I said in my word that heavens and the earth will pass away. This same heaven we are even dreaming of, He said it will pass away. He said, but my word, He now said, another meaning for my word is my principles. He said, I'm the principal, but I put my principle above. Because what bounds me is my principles. That's what He said to me. He said, what bounds me, what controls me, what regulates me, what makes me do what I do is my principles. He said, remove my principles from me, then I'm not God. He said, what makes me God is the principles I live by. Just like you read Exodus chapter 30 and see that place where Moses met with God, and then God showed him who He is. He said, I'm the Lord God, I am merciful, loving, long-suffering, keeping mercy for 1,000, and all those things He was saying. He said, those are the things that governs my life. You remove those things from me, then you can't talk of me being God. So I say, okay, Lord, are you saying if a man who does not know you, who does not serve you, know your principle and practice them, he will succeed? He said, yes, he will. I said, are you telling me the truth? He said, yes, yes, yes. I said, okay, then what is now the purpose of being a Christian? I said, the purpose of Christianity and salvation is about your eternal destiny. He said, a man who has my principles and does not have salvation, is not a Christian. He's going to have earthly success, but he's going to have eternal damnation. He may succeed on earth here. By applying my principles, he will get result. But when he dies, he's going to be a wretched man in the other world. Then, he now says salvation is the biggest thing that can happen in man. Because when you have it now, I now have my principles. Because salvation is about accepting the person. The Bible says a fool says in his heart that there's no God. When you deny the person and accept the principles of the person, you could get the results. But for denying the person, you're going to be a wretched man in the other world. You're going to die a second death. You're going to suffer for it. You will pay for it with your life in hell. But now, salvation now offers us the opportunity of accepting the person. Not just the person, but the life of the person. And then when we have that, we now add the principles of the person. By combining these two forces together, what happens to us is that we get both results on earth and get it after life. So if you say, okay, if not being a Christian makes me succeed, what are we talking about? Throw your Christianity away. And then collect principles and succeed. No problem. You will know. But the day rapture meets you unprepared, you're going to be a poor man in the other side. Okay, now let me show you the other way. A man who refuses the principles but accepts the person is going to fail on earth woefully, but he's going to be rich the other way. A clear example is Lazarus. He neglected the principles. The Bible says he desired to eat from the crumb that fell from the rich man's table. He neglected the principles. He didn't want that. He wanted to eat from what the man on the high table was laboring to get. And the Bible says he desired the crumbs. Go and walk. Walk is a principle of success. Go and use your hands to do something. Deploy a talent, turn your talent into skills, deploy those skills into a marketable product or a service or whatever. Then you begin to make money. Making money is not hard. It's actually it's something that happens naturally when you find a problem and solve it. Money is just the certificate of appreciation you get for meeting a need. And that need could be providing a product or rendering a service. So God built the economic system. His system is, if I show you God's economic system, you'll be so, one of the things in his economic system is that you have to work. So the Bible says, he that cannot work should not eat. God gave man in the Garden of Eden work. God created work. Work is a noble thing that God made. A lot of us have refused to work. That's why we are where we are. The one God did not create is actually toiling. But that's the one that man now collected when he fell from where God placed him. But what God created to help man have dominion is work. Have you heard the word? Dignity of labor. There is dignity in labor. Labor there is work. The opposite now is the one that came into place when man fell, when he sinned against God. Toiling is struggling and not seeing results. But working is deploying services or, rendering or delivering products or doing something that affects lives positively to earn a living. God recommends that one. Now, why salvation is important is because there's a G factor that causes work to be productive, that causes your work, what you call the works of your hands, to prosper. A man who has principles then has the principle, and then has what you call grace, because grace does not come from the principles. Grace comes from the principle. Jesus is both grace and truth. Yeah, the principle also has its principles. If you apply the principle of the principle and you ignore the grace of the principle, you may have some level of, output, but you're not going to have as much as a man who is doing principles but adding grace to it. He will have more speed. By God's grace, I actually have the technology for changing any situation, for helping anybody. I usually tell you that if you allow me to do my job as a doctor, it don't take time, just a few space of time. The way your life will turn around. You too can rule your world. You too can. The more I begin to, the more I learn these things and I see how life really is, the more my headache with people reduce, because you can only help a man who understands what's I. I want to let you know this. The coming year is not for people who go to church. The coming year is not for people in the choir. It's not for people who know how to sing. It's not for people who know how to do anything. The coming year are for Christians who have principles at their command. It's not for principles who just pray in tongues. It's not for Christians who just pray in tongues or go to church. It's for Christians who have taken time to assemble. One day I opened the engine of my car and I looked at it. I said, how did they bring all these things together too? You see the oil, you see the engine oil area, you see the hydraulic, you see all those wires. You see the AC unit, you see the electrical unit, you see all kinds of things, and then You see the radiator, you see pipes, you see all kinds of holes. You see the brake system, the accelerator, everything, the injector, the valves, the plugs, and then just for one car that you enter and just drive to one destination, that's all. But you now bring different components, different kind of facilities, different nuts, different wires, different holes, different here and there. All that is to ensure that one car functions. Not two cars, one car. The one time I started studying the human body, and I studied and saw that there are about 12 human systems you have, or thereabouts. I started breaking these things down to see what even one alone does. After studying those systems, I started looking at organs, I started looking at different parts of your body. I look at the head, stood in the mirror, I was looking at my head. I said, look at just one head alone. See the functionalities in it. See nose. If you start studying the nose alone, which is just one sense organ within the head, if you know what it is made up of, down to even the hairs in your nostrils, you know, God put hair inside here, is to prevent dust from destroying your nose. Usually when you start having catarrh, all those flu, things passed. There were things that passed through your nostrils that were not supposed to pass there. You inhale things every day, but with the aid of some of those, hair that you have within your nostrils, God is, very wise man. He puts some things that restricts things from entering there. Imagine the job your nose does. Close your nose for just 1 hour alone if you can. And then you will see how useless your whole body can become. You will die. This one is collecting air and releasing what you call oxygen, and then releasing carbon dioxide. Then you study critically again, go beyond the nose now, then begin to study the eye. You see the functions of the eye, you begin to wonder, just eye. Then you start studying the mouth. Within the mouth alone, you go beyond the mouth, you study the tongue, study the teeth. Even your teeth alone has about 3 layers. You have scissors, you have what do you call the other one? The molars, the premolars. There are about how many of them? 4. 4 different components or parts of your teeth. Just teeth alone. One does the cutting, the other one does the chewing. 32 set of teeth you have, but divided into 4. You leave that one now, go and start studying the tongue. You see different functions. The tongue is for taste. The tongue helps you to release saliva. The tongue helps you to swallow food. It helps you to mix your food together. It's the tongue that does that job. Then leave that one now. Start studying your ear. You see different functions of the ear. It helps you to recognize sound, to hear sound. The same ear helps you for balance, your posture and all that is the ear. I even found that even this ear God put here is not only for sound and for balance, it's also for romance. Some of you are not married. When you marry, you understand. It's even for tickling. If I collect feather now and I put it inside your ear, this is what your body will do here. God is wise. He knows you like sweet thing. He just puts small it's inside your ear. See what I'm trying to explain is just within your head though. I've not started explaining your hands with the fingers. The different jobs of your thumb, your index finger, and all those whatever. Then when I take it beyond the fingers and start explaining your thumbprints, what thumbprints serve as, you use it to register for all those your voters days, open account, do all kinds of things. They use it for crime detection. Somebody comes to your house now, boggles and take away some properties. All you need to recover it is to get some detectors. They come, collect some items or check the door, scan it, and then they find thumbprints on those doors. With just somebody's thumbprint, you can recover lost goods. Thumbprints. They can use thumbprint to track somebody who stole your properties worth millions. And the way they track the person, they can recover all that with just thumbprint. Nothing God created in the human body is useless. See what God created and invested in. But you don't understand this. Okay, why am I going on this direction? Okay, even your ear is for beauty. You can put earring there and look better. Then we even start talking about the hair. Okay, even the eye alone. I didn't even break down the eye. What about the eyelashes, the eyelids? Which God sat down and built this thing? One after the other. And then some people want to fall from the sky and succeed. See the God you serve. Sometimes you should sit down like that and ask. They don't even open your body. If I open that one now, you'll be shocked. Your brain alone now, inside your head, your brain, if you know what it's wired with. Then this brain connecting the two lobes of your brain, the right lobe, the left lobe, the medulla oblongata was the job, and different other parts. Then the brain connecting through the spinal cord that connects through your back and goes to your waist. What's the job of that one? We start looking at the respiratory system alone. Or we take the heart and start looking at it alone. And check all the veins that are connected to your body. Check all the arteries alone. They start checking all those blood cells, white blood cell, red blood cell. Start checking all those tissues, all those everything. Let's leave that one. Let's now start studying bones. You start studying femur, you start studying all those joints, you start studying sockets, you start studying all those different bones and connections of your body. Who created this thing? What is interested is the same Father in heaven we serve. We now take your hair, just your hair alone, and study. Your hair. How much it took God to produce one after the other. One after the other, and assembled all of them and put it. And the way he finished, you now say the hair on your head are all numbered. He says that to let you know that they were created deliberately. That they were made one after the other. So we didn't rush it. We took time to make it. So we know the numbers. And we know the number that should size your hair. God knows the shape of your head, and He knows the shape of hair that sizes it. He deliberately created the shape of hair that will fit into your head. Then let's start even studying the digestive system. How you eat food, it moves from your mouth, from your mouth to your teeth to your tongue, from your tongue to your esophagus. From your esophagus, it gets down to the stomach, locates the small intestine, the large intestine. After a while, the body now collects what it needs to grow and then transforms the other one into poo-poo and then sends it to the anal. And then after a while, you start feeling pressed. Something is already happening somewhere. You now visit the toilet and now push that shit out. That's just digestive system. Imagine eating for 2 weeks and not being able to go to toilet. I actually met a lady who told me, I went somewhere to preach. She ran and met me, said, sir, I have been 6 months without going to toilets. She told me life. I said, this one is no longer medical. He said, have you gone to the hospital? He said, yes. This one is not medical, it's demonic. I said, have you been surviving? I saw the lady laying like this. She hardly eats. She just drinks water, vegetable and all that. 6 months. She told me 6 months. I said, what? 6 months? You haven't been able to live? She said, it's just been the message of God. I said, are you sure what you're telling me? And now laid hands. I said, okay, this night you're going to go and pass your poo. So the young lady has been living on water and then vegetables and fruits. No serious food. See the things God put in your body. Yet you've not been able to study to find out who created it. You eat food without your permission. You start feeling shit. Even when you're sleeping. Sometimes you eat in the night. You go to bed. You are sleeping. Your digestive system is working. Who programmed it? Before we started having software programmers and all that, God had been a long time programmer. You're sleeping. Your hair is growing. You're sleeping. Your kidney working. Your bladder working. We've not even talked about kidney alone. The one that helps to collect excess water, all those unneeded water in your body and turn it into urine. It's the kidney that does that sifting, then sends it to the bladder. Then the bladder collects it. Once it hits the bladder, that's when you start feeling pressed. And then you want to go and pass it out through your private parts. You see how your private part for the guys, your male private organ is connected to your bladder. See your 2 testicles. All you do is to go and take bath. Some of you who, go and bath and whistle out of the bathroom. You don't look at yourself and say, God, what kind of wonder am I? How God even created a male organ and didn't forget to use needle and open it. But then God forgot. You see how small it is. Be as big as your rod is. This one small thing is what is controlling the passage of urine and the passage of sperm. So your whole rod of Moses will be useless if there's no small hole that can release spermatozoa. That's where you all came from. That small gate. If you're with me, say I'm with you, sir. Small gate. Very insignificant. Hello, somebody. Very what? Insignificant hole. Just put it there. When you go and pee, you are just peeing and you don't understand what is going on in your life. For those of us who are married, when we meet with our spouses, things are coming out from left, right, center. Then you don't understand the technology. All you just do is look at it as normal. Why am I taking my time to go through all this? Is to show you that to be a success, my friend, there's a lot of work. You don't just fall from the sky and happen. You don't just wake up from the blues and then actualize. There's a kind of person you must work on being. Of all those principles that I should have been showing you, I will take on one today. If you know the amount of principles you need to succeed, and you see, like I used your human body to show you how these things work. All the parts of your body plays different roles. Some play one role, some play more than one role, some play like 2, 3, 4, several roles. This may sound a little bit, but there's nothing to hide here. We're all human beings and we are mature minds, so there's nothing to hide. Do you know what is shocking is that when a man is having love affair with a wife, Even if you're oppressed, there's water in your bladder. Urine in your bladder. But you're having that love affair with your wife. Shocking thing is, you get to a point where, something's about to happen, you're about to ejaculate and all that. Your private male organ does not have 2 holes. Remember, you're feeling pressed to go and ease yourself. And then you're also having something with your woman. And then ejaculation wants to come. I've never seen a situation where the sperms come out with the urine. Never. Never. I don't know the technology that holds the other one, releases the other one, and then the other one is still there. But you're oppressed. But both cannot come out together. I don't know that thing that controls the eyes, that make it difficult for one eye to move when the other one is standing still. Or one eye to stand still when the other one moves. Try it, let's see. Try. Try. Hold one eye looking in this direction. Change this one to this direction. Let's see. Even people who have 4 o'clock eyes, people who have 4 o'clock eyes, they can be looking at you like this and you think they're looking there. They are looking. Everybody say principles. You want to have success in the coming year? I'm showing you the prize now. I found out that God has this thing in great amounts. One time I studied that part of the Bible where it says, he that keeps Israel neither sleeps nor slumber. And I said, what is he awake doing? What's a man awake doing? Study the God who created the mountain. If you have to create a mountain, you'll be creating an idea. You'll be creating it. Look at Mount Everest alone, just one error. God that created Mount Kilimanjaro. God that created even Azugu Mount Hill here. This is Azugu Hill. Then the God that created the whole ocean, collected the whole water that were on the whole earth and hung it in the space as clouds, converted it into something else. And then took some part of the ocean or water and lodged it somewhere in the Atlantic. Took another one, lodged it in the Pacific. Took another one, lodged it in the Indian Ocean. Took another one, lodged it at the Mediterranean Sea. Took another one, lodged it in the Red Sea. Took another one, lodged it in different places. And then the whole world is in balance. Think about the God that created sand. Now I know why he does not sleep. Because to have such a level of result the man has, the man must be working every day. Working every minute. There's something, he's always on the course. Think about the man who created, okay, let's study one habitat alone. The aquatic habitats. Of all the habitats he created. You have the atmosphere. Is a habitat. Bears, I can harness that one. Is a habitat. You have the aquatic, or what you call the hydrosphere. When you see hydro is water, like H2O is water. Hydrosphere talks about the water, the sphere of water. For instance, you now see land and all that. At the end of the day, see, if you study the aquatic life or the aquatic world, the creatures that live inside there alone are more than 1,000 different creatures. If you want to study fish alone, fish is not the only thing that lives in water. There are other creatures that live in water. But you want to study the fish family alone, if you know the kind of different fishes you have in the water. One kind of fish you have is tilapia. You have fingerlings. You have catfish. You have dolphins. You have sharks. You have whales. These are wild fish. Can even kill a human being, like sharks and whales. You have all these crabs and all that, a different kind of aquatic life, different from fish. There are some snakes that live in water. Then you now start looking at these other creatures like frogs and toad. I think it's toad that, or toad lives in water. There are other reptiles that lives in water too. Like crocodile lives in water. Rhinoceros. That very hefty animal that has a very, live in water. There are some who are dual aquatic, in nature. Some creatures that have dual aquatic nature. Dual habitation rather, not aquatic. Dual habitation. Some can live on water, in water, some can live on land. Like pig. Pig does not live in water. But they can enter water and do its thing and come out. Especially because of the kind of system it has that produces heat. Deer also, D-E-E-R, can live on land, it can live in water. Especially when it begins to emit smell. What makes deer pants for water is that ugly smell it has. Deer has a natural ugly smell. So sometimes when it begins to feel that thing, it becomes ashamed. It begins to have a kind of low, confidence amongst other creature. He feels intimidated, he feels bad, inferiority complex. So that's when he begins to pant after water. That's why we say, as the deer pants for water, so does my soul thirst. That panting, part of the panting is not because he's thirsty. Part of the panting is that I'm now unclean. The only way I can get myself clean now is to run into the water. That's how it is with believers. When you feel I'm now in debt, I'm now in mess and all that, you don't run away from God's presence. That's when to pant for the presence of God. So, I can even take on your keyboard and now talk about it. How did they create these notes? How did they create it? All these things, how did they create it? They have different notes. Then when you now combine them together, you now start getting pleasurable sounds. How do they do that? You should ask questions. You open the keyboard now, you see all kinds of connections. How? And the connections are so unique and different that it's different from that of a TV. TV has its own different, producing a different. I look at all those things and then how things are built to function. That's how your life must be built to function. If you're going to be a success, you need to be wired up. And your wiring is principles. You need to be wired up with all kinds of principles. The coming year is a year of greatness, both sir and ma, brothers and sisters. You have to go the extra mile to begin to assemble. You don't build a car and say, okay, I'm through building a car. The car does not need tires. Hello? You put tires in the car. Are you correct? Am I correct? If you even study the tire alone, you will put rim in the tire. If you even study the tire alone, you have to put small valve. You have to pump the tire. In some cases you have to put a tube in the tire. Just tire alone. Then you have to put nuts, like some have 5 nuts, 6 nuts, to hold the rim and the tire to the wheel. Just tire alone, then you have 4 of them. One time I was coming back from somewhere, I was driving. I applied my brake and then the car went in a particular direction. I said, no, this is not how my car moves. I applied again. It moves in a particular direction. I applied, it moved. I said, what's going on? So I took it to the Michelin company. And then they loosened the tire and they just brought out one small thing. He said, Oga, your brake pad don't finish. I said, brake pad? He said, yes. I said, is that why this whole car was going in one direction? This small thing? He said, yes. He said, just a new brake pad, 3,000. I bought it. They put it there. Did alignment. Everything came back to normal. So you see, brake pad is a small, it's not 3,000. Tire self is 80,000. Collect the brake pad and throw it away. If you see how your discs your disc plate is going to break into two. Your tire will burst. And when the tire bursts, the whole car can somersault. And when the whole car somersault, if you're not lucky, you can lose your head inside of it and die. Then when we start analyzing how you died, we will now trace it down to brake pad. Or if you like, say, this car, I bought it for 20M. I don't know what this small knot of 500 naira is doing here. Come out, my friend. Just loosen the knot and throw it inside the lagoon. I say, look at the car of 5 million and I'll be struggling with 500 naira knot here. Get out, you don't match. Hit the car and be going to village. It's not the people in your village that will call you. It's not your umunna that will call you. It is your stupidity that will send you back home. When I mean send you back home, they will send you back home in an ambulance. The way the tire will come out. Because you are breaking a principle. When you attempt breaking a principle, it breaks you in return. That's why life is governed by laws. There are different laws. Okay, let's even go to physics a little and see that there are different laws that controls. Both controls automobile. Like I'll be talking about automobile. There are laws that controls it. There are laws that control aerodynamics. There are laws that control some. Like there's this law called the law of gravity. There's a law in physics called the law of flotation. You see how a big ship can sail on an ocean, and you're wondering how this big ship. Because there's something that enables that ship float. It can't fly. Is created with respect for the principles of flotation. Then you now see aircraft big. Put aircraft inside water, it will sink. But now put the same aircraft on a runway and just respect a few principles of aerodynamics. A few principles of gravity. Oh, the plane goes up into the sky. And then you're wondering, what is holding this whole plane up there? One time I sat in the economic class of the plane. So I was privileged to sit by the wing side of the plane. And lo and behold, when the thing took off, I was looking at the wing. I saw those things flapping by the wing. And I saw a lot of technologies by that side. After the thing closed and the thing was going, when the plane was about to land, few seconds to its landing, those two things opened like this, and I saw lights, I saw things. I said, just one wing they put there like that, but they connect that wing. Birds have inbuilt connections in their wing that help them to fly and stay afloat in the air. Metals don't have it naturally, but they have to now build something into those metals that help it operate like a bird. So that one is technological wing. It has some things that can make it do what birds can do. Take out time, study things in nature. Study things in science. Study things in your human body. Then you will appreciate on a high level the wisdom of God. You will appreciate how the man is. Let me tell you something. I'm not moved by people who want religion now. It's not my business. The truth of the matter is, it's not my problem anymore. I found that the best gift you can give yourself is be a better person. Is to keep improving. Each time I talk, it's not even your wow that gets me. It's my own wow. I talk sometimes and I get shocked at the things I'm saying. Yes, it's the truth. I talk sometimes and I'm like, you're talking too much. Where are these things coming from? I get so wow. But at the end of the day, I'm so grateful to God. The quality of who I am. A man's quality is not in the Jeep he drives. The question is, are you an updated version of your being? See, everything is updated. Now, 2020, companies are thinking of, updating their automobiles or updating some of their, electronics or some of their gadget or product into new whatever. So, Mercedes G-Wagon of 2019 already has 2020, 2022. All of that are out there already. So in 2020 now, they just released them. Or even now, they are already releasing some of them. And then you'll be wondering, where are these cars? It's the same car. What is really shocking is that it's the same engine. They just do a few additions. Some is even lights, they go and change. You look at Range Rover of 2018 and look at that of 2019. The same. Prices different. That of 2019 will be higher. And then they will start showing you what makes this one different. You just go and change a few things. And use grammar and confuse you. So where the 2018 Range Rover seat doesn't have maybe massage, they go and put massage in this other one. So you sit on the chair, press one button to massage you. Where the other one does not have a fridge in between the handrest, they will go and put one small Thermocool engine inside there. And then you can put your body into it. You will impress, hey, this one has fridge. It's the same Range Rover. The difference is that this one is updated version. Yes, some of you, the day you were born, maybe in 1980, you are now in 2019, about to enter 2020. If we look at you, you are still 1980. My wife traveled and came back, went to see my people and came back with some of my pictures. You need to see them. You won't believe it's me. You need to see me where I'm standing there. Holding toy gun. You need to see us. You need to see. I laughed. She was laughing. I even became shy. And I said, please now, who did this? He said, it's my mom that brought all of them out. He said, they are even worst that she didn't come with it. I said, she just collected some to show me. He said, but there are some that are worst. And I'm feeling like, God, can I really hold on those pictures and destroy all of them? If you see me, if I shake you, you will not even want to shake me. I remember pictures of my birthday. It was rice. We used to do cake. They would put it in tray pan. You see the tray pan of those days. The ones they used to sell banana is more dignified. The ones, you see the tray pan, it will have tomato, this thing. They will put tomatoes on, tomato drawing on it. Somewhere they will put Maggi drawing on it. If you see how the tray will look, then they will full rice. You need to see even this other guy, his pictures. I saw some of his pictures, the way he was looking, like an Agboro. Now see how he's looking, posh. We need to see all those pictures with girls. They lined up. When he was in school, you will see 13 girls. He's the only guy in the middle. And he's holding all of them like this. Then his head, the way it was looking. But now see his head. Those days, his head, the way all of them, even her, all of them, I said, is this how life can be? See, we are changing physically, but are you changing mentally? Are you changing your brains? Are you improving upstairs? Are you improving? The power of vision. Now let me cap on this. Jeremiah 1:11 again. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Jeremiah, what seest thou? Because that's where the Genesis begins. What do you see? And I said, I see a rod of an almond tree. Now hear the next reply of God. Because God will not say anything next to you until He knows what you are seeing. God will not do anything new with you until He knows what you are seeing. The limit of God's blessing is in your seeing. Where God stops His provision is where your vision ends. Now can I preach? Can I teach? I will need your response. I say, where God's provision stops is where your vision ends. He said, then said the Lord unto me. Can you now see God's reply? Thou hast seen well. He said, thou hast well seen. You see God approving vision. First is asking, what is your vision? What are you seeing? And the man is responding, I see the branch of an almond tree. I see the branch of an almond tree. He didn't just say, I see a branch of a tree. He even specified a tree. This is a man who is seeing specifically. This is a man who is seeing correctly. He is seeing definitely. He's not just seeing men like trees. Like that man that Jesus touched. And they said, what do you see? And you now see how God talks. And God is a God of vision. I am shocked by that question Jesus asked. You touched a blind man. The man is blind. His eyes are now open. The appropriate question to ask is not what do you see. The appropriate question is, can you see? But instead of asking, can you see, he now asks, what do you see? Because he knows the greatest form of blindness is not physical blindness. It's a man's eyes that is open but has not seen anything, or cannot see anything. That's the worst kind of blindness. Helen Keller was asked, what's the worst thing in the world? She says, having eyes but that cannot see. Having your eyes wide open, yet not being able to see. And yet the woman they were asking was both physically blind and physically dumb, or deaf rather. Yes, she became one of the most successful women who has ever lived in the world. Why? Your physical eyes may be blind. If the inner ones are open, you can beat a man who has physical eyes open, but inner eyes blind. So Jesus asks, what do you see? Because he knows the problem is not whether you are seeing or whether your eyes are open. The problem is whether your inner eyes. And then the man now says, I see men as trees. And Jesus said, hey, you need a second touch. Your eyes are actually open now, but there's an inner eye. How can you see human beings like trees? Even if you want to see trees, at least see timber inside them. We have no problem with your seeing trees. Stop seeing human beings as trees. When you see trees, at least see timber, see chair inside, see furniture, see table inside. See sculpture inside. So people see trees as decoration or anything else. As trees. But there are people who have seen wealth inside trees and turned trees into something that people are buying for millions. If trees can make people rich, human beings can make people more richer. This is where the difficulty is in the dominion stuff. Getting people to see how God created us to function. People who want to just come for regular service are going to have big problem in 2020. He also want laying of hands, and even laying of legs. You're going to have big problem. I don't know how many times you woke up in the morning and then you said to your car, Kalabosha, 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 and the car said that. If I'm there and that happens, I went to your car. That means that car is not a car, it's something else. What do? You want to start a car? You collect your key, you press the door, it opens. Then you enter the car, is that right? You put the key in the ignition. Or in most cases like cars where you touch start button, you start it, the car picks up. Then what do? At that point, you now speak in tongue. Kalabosha, revise. Lebo, lebo, lebo. Lebo, leback, leback. Leback, leback, leback. And the car will start moving back. Then when you reach it, let's stop, let's stop, let's stop. When it stops, you know, le front, le front, le front. Is that what you do? No. Technology has made life simple. Just put it on drive. It will go forward. Put it on R. It will go backward. And use your steering. That's how your life is. Can I build you of this season? Okay. We have made Wurima second of things. We should just made wisdom. Knowledge. Principle. If you ask me, hello sir, who are you? I will tell you, I'm an all day and all-time, lifelong learner. That's why I'm not pursuing to be a good master. I'm pursuing to be a good learner. Every day. If you have master degree in a particular field and you got it in 1960, I hope you are aware you're already outdated by now. Can be boasting and say, I have masters, I have PhD. It's not about it. It's when you got it. We're looking at the content that gave you PhD. Because if you can have PhD, nobody says it's a bad thing to have PhD. But can you go for new contents in your field? If not, keep holding on to 1960 PhD. And with 1960 knowledge, you'll be irrelevant in a world that is moving fast. So I don't want to collect certificates and say, I'm now a master. I have PhD. Okay, shut up. Get it. But keep moving. Keep learning new things. There are professors who cannot use computer. There are professors who cannot do Facebook. They don't. But they are prof. And they're the ones teaching you guys. Sorry. If you put Mark Zuckerberg to be my lecturer and put Piano Keke to be my lecturer, you know Piano Keke? I would kick Piano Keke in the butt and I will sit down and allow Mark Zuckerberg teach me. Because Mark Zuckerberg is only in the present, he's in the future. That's why you need to be pastored by a man who is not just in the present, he's in the future. When he's talking, he's not talking from only yesterday, he's talking from tomorrow. I know some of you, if you see Elijah now, the Bible Elijah comes back to life as full-fledged. He just came down with Chiron. Boom, I'm Elijah. The same one that rained fire. I'm the same Elijah. And then I ask you, choose between Pastor Prince and Elijah. Which one will be your pastor? Some of you foolishly go to Elijah. But the way you guys will suffer under that man. If you know what you go to, places you will trek with your leg to go and preach. God is saying to let's go to Chad. We are going to Chad to go and preach. And you wake up in the morning only to find that Elijah has his bags in his hands with his walking stick. He says, "Sir, where is the vehicle?" He says, "Which vehicle? What's vehicle? Let's go." That's how we did it in our days. When you meet me, I'm telling you, we are going to UK. I'll tell you, go and get your visa. Go and get your visa. Because the man is... That's why God took those guys away. Because their time, they were relevant in that time, in this time. The one thing you need to take away is the mantle. Because the mantle cannot be civilized. You can't modernize the mantle. You can modernize the package, the content, the anointing, the mantle cannot be modernized. So I can carry Elijah's mantle here, but the method and the strategies that enables me to reach this generation is completely different from the method and the strategy of Elijah. If I give Elijah now phone, he doesn't know what it is. If I give him phone, he'll be wondering. If you want to understand how Elijah will be, just go and watch Mr. Bones. What about John the Baptist? You understand? If I give him microphone now, you're like, what is this? What is this? He would throw it back at me and use his voice to preach in the stadium. The whole stadium. Or he will say, move all this crowd out of this stadium to the riverside. You know, in the time of Jesus, there was no microphone. So Jesus had a strategy. Most of his sermon was preached at the riverside. You know why? Because the wave from the sea travels with sound. It makes sounds travel. So Jesus will always bring the disciples and bring the multitude to the bank of the river. And then he would ask Peter, give me your boat. He would now say, move inside a little. So that as he starts talking, all those from the river, from the sea, will carry his voice and travel to the seashore. Because he had multitude he was talking to. But now we have another kind of, technology that help us not to go to the river, but we can emit the same wave. It's the same wave. That wave you hear on the ocean is the same wave I'm emitting now. That's what is passing through this sound. That's why the receiver that is helping this mic talk is running in frequency, in waves. It's running in waves. Just like oceans have waves. That's how that receiver also have waves. There's a position I may take now with this mic. I will not be able to communicate. It will be breaking. Why? Because I'm not positioned at the right current. Okay, let's see for another day. This is what God is saying to Jeremiah in verse 12. Then said the Lord unto me, thou hast well said, for I will hasten my word to perform it. I wish you can get this one now. You see, for I will hasten my word to perform it. God has nothing to perform if you have not seen it. He said, now that you have seen, I'm going to hasten the promises I have for you. I'm going to bring them to pass quickly. Because you now have a vision. I can now release everything that I have for you. Why God will not release your harvest is because you lack vision. Why God will release your breakthrough is because you lack vision. Why you can't swim in prosperity is because you lack vision. Why you're still where you are for years is because you lack vision. The coming year is a year of new visions and new dreams. Nothing will make this year different from next year. The only difference is the figures. Where this one is 2019, the other one they just added one figure to it to make it 2020. Stop celebrating that. If I were you, go and turn the 2020 to 20 things you will do in your finances to improve. 20 things you will do in your marriage to improve it. 20 things you will do in your business to improve it. 20 things you will do with your ministry to get to the next level. 20 things, I would rather you turn it to a 2020 thing. Okay, if I even want to help you with 2020, how to get a vision for 2020. Get 20 things you will remove from your life. Negative. Maybe in your health, 20 habits that causes you health crisis, and then adopt 20 things. So I think 2020 is 20 positive you have to adopt and 20 negative you have to remove. So look at different areas of your life. In your business, 20 things you have to do away with that stop you from having business success this year. And then look at for 20 things you must do to now have business success. 20 habits you must stop this coming year. And then 20 new habits you must cultivate to succeed. 20 financial, errors you must stop this coming year. And then 20 financial principles you must adopt this coming year. That's when the 2020 can make sense. But if it's about 2020, we're in 2020, you're just wasting your time.
We believe you've been transformed by the wonders of God's Word. For additional information about us, you can visit our website at www.princetonhills.org. You can also send us a mail at info@princetonhills.org or call 070-331-66762 or 081-31
555-747.
Princeton Hills Ministries, raising global leaders.